Well, are you happy now for the next episode? They finally brought back one of the bad guys who never got closure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Here, before we get too far into it, I'm going to do the opening card. Series 11, Episode 10, The Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos. Yeah, like you were saying, yeah, they did actually give Tim Shaw a at least temporary closure on this one, which is good. They put him in stasis, which is in the in the world of science fiction, if somebody is put on stasis, yeah, the writers might forget about him. They might never use him again, but he's there if they want it. And they haven't done a lot with, uh, like, the rest of his people. It's mostly just him. They haven't done a whole lot with his people. So, uh, him, so him coming back is not, it's not out of the question because they did just put him in stasis. I mean, the was it the Ook uh, uh, are supposed to be, well, no, they were supposed to seal up the shrine, but they also said they were going to go traveling. So you know, he's basically going to be sealed up in a box on an abandoned planet. So who knows going to run into him, and they could bring him back at any time because they haven't killed him off. They just put him in stasis. Though it would be interesting if he was mad about the foot, which I half think they kind of missed a trick with the last like minute or so. Yeah, he shot him in the foot. I told you not to tell her that. Or he shot him. What? No, what? What did you do? In the foot to stop him from killing us? Then we put him in stasis. Just that moment of sort of tension. But yeah, he shot
Don't
him.
feel
Just
bad about Tim Shaw anymore. He's gone. It's like, what? Oh
yeah, he
yeah,
shot him
my dad shot him. You what?
in
In
the
the
foot. In the
and then I
foot.
don't this.
Then we put him in stasis. Oh. You see the doctor just get really mad for a second and then go, "Oh, okay." Yeah, it's interesting that this series has done a lot of. We're not going. It's been a lot of sort of tie in from what I was saying in the last review. It's a bit of a we're creating continuity. We're not, we're creating new things. We're not, you know, reusing, uh, because this series we had no Daleks, we had no Cybermen, uh, no Autons, no Santarans. None of the old Rogues Gallery has shown up as far as I can remember. I don't think so.
It's
Like,
been mostly historical fictions and fictional fictions, but
you know,
none of the classic Who stuff.
yeah, there's no. I mean, just I guess they want to start fresh and give them some space from. It's like here's this. Let's give some space to these classic Doctor Who villains. Like yes, at some point, 13 is going to run into a Dalek or a Cyberman or something like that, and or a Rutan or something. You know, but maybe
I
maybe
hope. get to the Ronnie. I still want her back.
Yeah, and it's with the return of the with Gallifrey returning. Yeah, you could
Also,
Gallifrey
the
is
Ronnie
not
was on.
what.
Also, the Ronnie wasn't on Gallifrey, and I really doubt she'd have joined the battle.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have access to all the Time Lords again. At all they have to do, because they're no longer wiped out, is Gallifrey is back to normal. Yeah, Gallifrey's back to normal, and then you see the Time Lords start to whiz about again, but not too many of them. And it'd be good if the Doctor's just sort of left alone to her own devices. But yeah, you could it's got to be you got to be careful about bringing back classic enemies and making sure that because modern Who has really pounded on the Cybermen and the Daleks and everything, and it's just every other day. It seems like every other season. Oh yeah, we got somebody from the classics that just coming up and here's a Dalek. It's not a big deal anymore. Like you first see a Dalek in Dalek, that's freaking frightening. Like it's a scary thing if that's the first time you were exposed to a Dalek, and it's like that's a frightening thing. And then just in Day of the Doctor, he kills like 3 of them with his TARDIS, just sort of like well, I know it was 1 at least, because at least one of them got the headpiece got sort of knocked into the room or something and left a bit of a mess. But just like ramming his TARDIS into them and destroying them. It's like, well, that's they've sort of been nerfed into the ground. They're not the frightening thing they were in the first series, because they were legitimately spooky in the first series in terms of it's a science fiction. The Doctor's going to come out on top, but the 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 Daleks are they're actually they're
Source of
actually
hiding in the
sorry, what?
They're the original source of the under the sofa meme.
But yeah, maybe giving them a break, they'll come back and they'll have some. And with the extended break that we're getting with this series, after we have a New Year's special and then nothing until early 2020.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe they'll, what I hope is that they take the extra time to look at what was good and what was bad and go, okay, Chibnall, you're off the right. You can do other things, but maybe you should step back from the writing so much. Do your showrunner thing, but step back from the writing a little bit. Because apparently you're showrunning it well enough that when people who aren't you write these things, it's fine. But you get into it and it's like you need help. You need help to make really good ones. But this one was okay. Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos. I mean, it's okay. It's got some interesting bits to it, but so yeah, they was that a snore?
I don't know. I think Madrock died.
All I hear was yeah. Let's see. So always in like the Sith, always 2 there are of the Ook, apparently. Oh. So apparently the doctor just has neural balancers on hand as well.
The doctor
And
has everything on hand.
fair enough, including at one point a hand.
Yeah, but then I think that regenerated. So
Yeah, I said for a time.
yeah,
For a time, he had a doctor. The doctor had a hand on hand, his hand on hand. But
he took it from Jack.
well, that could be taken in a few ways. He took a
Jack,
hand. He took a hand from Jack. Um.
why is my hand sticky? You don't want to know, doctor. You really don't want to know.
uh, so the TARDIS pops in into this ship, and like there's an unbalanced person because of the things that the situation on the planet. Are you one of them? And and slaps a neural balancer on him, and he's like, "Ooh, right then." um, and he's
Because
slowly regaining his memory.
because you just happen to have one extra neural balancer.
Yeah. Well, at that
Exactly
point, I
one.
mean, if you're gonna have one, you might as well, probably. She ordered them from Kablam. You have to buy a dozen.
Mm, it's one of those pack set things.
Yeah, you have to buy 12. I mean, you can either buy one at a time or in a pack of 12, and if you if you buy them individually, they're much more expensive than if you buy them as a dozen. And so she just bought a dozen and just. I have I have you know, I have these pockets that I can fit anything in. I have bags of holding on my side, so I'm just gonna shove them in there. um, uh, oh, ow. Um, let's see. At this point,
I was actually wrong in this episode.
mm.
I know. Shocking. I was partly wrong. Let's get that straight. I was partly wrong. I thought those little crystals were the people they'd been kidnapping.
That's usually how it goes, but
No,
yeah,
because it's like Tim Shaw and his kidnapping people is part of his species thing.
yeah, it's part of his shtick,
There's
and so
something floating around in there.
yeah, and then you find out that's a freaking planet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. And it was kind of interesting, by our powers combined, I am Captain Restore Planets.
Yes.
Bit of the blue box, a bit of the ook, and a bit of the stanza technology. Put that all together, and yes, we can throw with these three bits of technology.
And of course, they referenced some of Rusty D's less than stellar work with the I once transported your entire planet halfway across the universe.
Oh yeah, and then, was it the Daleks were trying to make some sort of death wave or something, and
Yeah,
needed the Earth to finish the sort of harmonics to make it work. It's like,
yeah, and transported Earth out of its orbit and stuff. And so
yeah.
used his TARDIS to move the entire planet Earth back into its proper alignment. Because, like a TARDIS do.
Um, anyway, um, so apparently, oh yeah, and Peltraki has one of these planet boxes, and and
He ordered it from Kerblam.
yes, the new planet box. It's a planet in a box. Own a piece of the stars. Uh,
I think he's sleeping.
yes, I believe he is. Um,
It wasn't me this time.
yes. Well, at least you don't snore
True.
much.
Well, I didn't really watch the episode.
I do, but it's a lot quieter than that. I've been told I sound like a baby pit bull growling.
Yeah.
And it depends on how I'm sleeping, if I'm sick, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tim Shaw has got his people held hostage and is like, give me the planet or I kill them. And then he kills a woman named Song. And he's got two more on the crew. And we also find out later that he has a lot of people in stasis. So
He collects people. It's what he do.
yes. He's the collector. He collects things, planets, people, whatever.
Talking ducks.
What?
Talking ducks.
Do not remember a talking duck.
The collector collected Howard the Duck.
Okay. Oh yeah, now I remember. Okay, yeah. So the doctor's not even sure what the thing is. They also conveniently find throat mics, which, okay, whatever. At this point, the doctor having anything or finding anything is pretty much, okay. You've been around, long enough that you forgot if you were lying about your age. You have a collection of stuff. That,
In the classic series, it was a running gag where he would reach into his pocket and pull out like an entire pile of random crap before he got to what he was looking for.
Which doctor?
The classics. They did it in the fourth and the second at least. I'm not sure if they did it in any other ones, but I remember distinctly one episode in the fourth Doctor where he pulled out a yo-yo, a ball, a string, jelly babies, something. I don't remember what it was, but it was way too big for his pocket. And in the second Doctor, he did the same thing in one of the episodes.
Yeah, which they should bring that back. That'd be a nice callback. I think that would be funny with all the convenient things that the Doctor has at hand. Just like, oh no, rubber chicken, no. This, no.
That reminds me of the chocolate cheese sandwich. I mean, wait, what? Because you have that habit of name dropping.
But yeah, just like, oh yeah, this, no, that, no. Oh yeah, there it is. Then just sort of squishes it all back down in the pocket and it just sort of all, look. All right, there we go. That's what I needed. Pockets are bigger on the inside. I always keep a few of the essentials. There was a yo-yo in there. Sometimes.
Hey,
what's the point of being all grown up if you can't be childish sometimes?
actually, the yo-yo has come in handy in the first Doctor era.
In the what?
I don't remember why, but it had to do with Leela.
Oh, I didn't know he ran into the Planet Express.
Lilo was his companion.
Yeah, and I was making a joke, a
Oh,
Futurama reference.
yeah. Okay. Different
Yes.
Lilo.
Yes, that was the joke.
Or I forgot.
I was being intentionally obtuse. Um, uh, so, but at this point, Graham's like, I'm gonna kill him. If I see him, I'm gonna kill him. She's like, no, no, don't. You're the bigger man. You can't travel with me if you're gonna do that. Meanwhile, Doctor pulls out grenades from her pockets and starts sticking him to the planet box. It's like,
What's this about? No killing, and then you're bringing grenades. Well, you can kill objects. You're not going to. They can be replaced.
yeah, walls and doors blocking the way, but living things is where she draws the line. Not, and then tells Ryan not to quote her back on that, as her rules are always changing.
Rule number 1: the doctor lies.
Yes. Like, rule 2: don't run off. But, so she dead man switches the grenades on them so that if something were to happen, it destroys the thing. So she has her own hostage.
Little did you know, he doesn't really care about that.
No, not really.
Because you're just going to blow it up. That's just some other planet. I don't care.
Yeah.
Not my planet.
Yeah, and that's a good scratch. So we get another Ryan Graham moment where Ryan's trying to talk him out of killing Tim Shaw. It's like, Graham actually has this is accurate. I don't remember this part, but he's the Graham way he would him killing does seem a little slightly out of character, but his reasoning is as in character as you can be and still give him that motivation. He's like, stop him from spreading any more death and misery. Putting an end to him so he can't kill anybody else if he's dead. And they basically they pull the same thing that Doctor Who has pulled at least 3 times. Like, they have the sniper bots all around them. They're surrounded. And they duck, and the sniper bots kill each other. It's like, I remember doing that once with some Daleks. And my TARDIS did that once with some Weeping Angels. But basically, get out of the way and let the enemy attack itself. So again, what? Go ahead. What?
I said, let them kill each other, and you're in the clear.
Yeah, I just ducked. You can't get mad at me for doing it. They fired. I ducked. I took no offensive attack. I just.
She has a habit of using loopholes to get away with doing things that are questionable.
Yeah, well, it's mostly how the Doctor operates in general. They need to stop. The Doctor needs to stop someone. Okay, well, I'm not going to directly kill them. I'm not going to do that. That would be wrong. But,
well, I mean, Davros even said that he turns his companions into weapons.
Yeah. Well, and generally, it's one of two things. Either either a companion goes off the rails and says, "You may not want to do it, Doctor, but I will," and or he just makes them shoot themselves. Basically, turn. Usually, that's most of the plans that end up destroying the enemy, or is they turn them on themselves. Um, though sometimes he gets away with stopping them without killing them. You know, sometimes he converts them. Sometimes they're beyond conversion, and he kills them by having them kill themselves. And sometimes he freezes them in time and makes them stand over the fields of England as their protector.
Sometimes he kills them with kindness.
Yeah. Why this Time Lord who had fought with gods and demons would run away from us. He was being kind. Yeah. He's like, I don't want to kill you. Just run away. And then it's like, no second chances. This is 10th. This isn't. I'm not nice. I'll if you stop when I tell you to, we can get along just fine. You've learned your lesson and you're moving on. You continue to do stuff. You threaten people. You do all this. Be prepared for a world of hurt. Trapping people in mirrors, throwing them into the event horizon of a black hole. Yeah. Yeah. Unbreakable chains forged in the heart of a dwarf star or something like that. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, Tim doesn't play. And apparently, though, maybe I missed it, but like, they call Tim Shaw the creator, but they don't really go much into it may just be a factor of running time. They don't go much into why they think he's the creator, other than he showed up on their planet. They don't really go into the lore of what the Ook think
Well,
of.
apparently he'd been waiting for a very long time, and he was prophesized to appear in just that way, and he took advantage of their prophecy.
Yeah, that's but it would have been interesting to go a little deeper into that. It's like, oh, does the creator have certain attributes? Because that would have been an interesting way for them to realize, and for the Doctor to argue, no, he's not a creator, in a very interesting way. But I guess, yeah, it just basically,
Like one time, and there's limitations.
yeah, time limitations are probably why we didn't get something more interesting like that. But I mean, they could have. They could have dropped the extra crew members thing and just had the two stasis things, so they could have gotten out of that quicker and had a few minutes to talk about that. But they could have messed around with a little bit of this and a little bit of that to make that room. But again, time limitations. It works enough, and it's sort of shorthand for, yeah, they thought he was this creator guy, but we're never given a reason why no, other than prophesized to show up at something. But
Plus, I think in order to give it a bit more mystery at the beginning, they withheld that, because unless they did a flashback, it would have made more sense to have it at the beginning and to show why he was thought to be the creator. But if you did that,
yeah, well, you could also do it as a conversation between them and the Doctor. No, he's the creator. He's the creator. Why do you think that? Well, because this, and this, and it's like, well, no, look at this, and she could, borrow some memory file from the TARDIS and go, see, this is what he did. Though to be fair, he's done much worse. What she has recordings of him are, not nearly as bad as what he's having them do. So apparently, this creator didn't have a lot of great like taking whole planets is a little worse than killing one woman or leading to the death of one woman or trying to kill a few people. You know, it
And kidnap one person
yeah,
as
a little kidnapping, a little murder here and there is nowhere, when it comes to the scale of, stealing planets.
what's a little murder between friends.
But yeah, so that's ooks, not an ook, apparently. Um, so we get the elder of the ooks, and she's excited about it, but she's like, I let me show you, show me to Tim Shaw. I'll, da 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 da, and and apparently it's been like what 3,400 years or something
Yeah.
between the time because he was the way he was thrown around. Yeah, 3,407 years. Let's see.
Hence the how does he know you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been around.
Yeah. Yes, which he's got the full god complex. Yeah, he's on a revenge trip and is after anything that stood up to the Stenza. Uh, they reveal, oh, those are planets in the boxes. Uh, uh, So they try and they threaten the Earth and manages to Yaz and the Doctor slap the mental things on them, which at this point she runs out of. Instead of having just grabbing another couple from her pocket, she you know she takes the one off. They take the ones off her own head and slap it on there. It's like, all right, and that shuts it down, and everything goes. The Earth is saved and whatnot. Let's see, we get what?
Part of it because I noticed they were a little more receptive to her after the inhibitors were in place. So it could also have been partly the planet itself was messing with their minds the way it had messed with everyone else's.
Yeah, maybe they aren't immune to it, like you might be led to think, considering they could, walk around without those on, and adding them in made them more sane and more conscious of what they do. So let's see.
They were walking around for centuries and stuff was more, it seemed like a challenge, like the people who do all these things to show their faith.
Meanwhile, Ryan and Graham are freeing everybody. Graham stays behind to bomb the door. Graham takes out the sniper bots, gets himself a rifle. Um, mm, the mini planets are breaking down, and the we actually get an interesting thing that doesn't happen very often. The Doctor calls the TARDIS, and it actually comes. Like, usually the TARDIS doesn't do that, or at least they. That's one of the tensions, was that they have to. One of the things they have to sort of. They usually don't have the Doctor be able to call the TARDIS directly to her, because otherwise that cuts down all that cuts down on a lot of plots you can do, because they can be easily solved by the Doctor just going, "Oh yes, it's here. Get in." Okay. Um. So yeah, at this point, they bring everything, put everything back, and then the showdown. Shaw and Graham. Uh, let's see. Graham's decided not to kill him, but like, Tim Shaw's like, "Oh, you're weak," and then then Ryan pops up behind him, and he's like, "Ooh." And so Graham shoots him in the foot. The Tim Shaw, not Ryan. That would be weird. Uh,
You didn't call me granddad soon enough.
um, at this point, you know, they shove him into the stasis pod, which I guess shooting him in the foot made him less dangerous somehow. But at any rate, they managed to shove him into a stasis pod and lock him up. And he feels weak for not being able to go through with it. But the Doctor's like, no, that was very strong to be able to resist the urge for revenge. Which, it was a very Doctor way to deal with Tim Shaw. It's like, there's two ways to deal with Tim Shaw in this scenario that would have been acceptable from the Doctor. Essentially, it would be either his own plan kills him, like they evacuate everybody and the planets re-enlarge and destroy him.
Yeah, but then the planets themselves would be destroyed.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's, if there was no way for them to save them anyway, and that happened, that would be a thing. But this is the other way you can do it. You can either have his own plans. Two ways to really deal with villains, real villains that can't be redeemed. You just go, oh yeah, either their plans flip on them and hurt them in the end, or you imprison them somehow, and put them in stasis or something, or you turn them over to a local authority that can lock them away for a while. They can go through their court system and deal with that. So the Ooks are going now. Now that that's all settled, the Ooks are going out to see the universe. And they've locked up the stasis pods to basically go, Yeah, they locked up the temple where nobody should be able to get in, but that doesn't mean anything in this. If somewhere down the line they want to bring back Tim Shaw, they can. You know, there's a there's a whole, you know, they've got evil in a can over here if they need it. Like somebody stumbles upon it, somebody releases him, he goes out doing stuff.
I mean, they did have the master completely destroyed, his
Yeah,
body burned, and he still came back.
yeah. Death is merely a setback in Doctor Who. It's like, oh, you killed all the Daleks. Well, no, not really, because there's these over here. Ah, there's always a few stragglers out there.
Heck, they're Cybermen from 3 different continuities on our Earth, plus the at least 2 different dimensions from different dimensions. So
Yeah, they
it's
just
in this world. There's another dimension you can get them from.
yeah, yeah. You can always port over, though. It does make me wonder with that. You know, eventually the master is going to show up again. I
Of
mean,
course.
the master never stays dead for long, and if you know, the weapon was supposed to stop her from regenerating, so, but
Maybe she comes back as herself.
but uh, there's some theories that she managed to flick the setting on him, and he didn't notice, and it didn't, and she was actually able to regenerate, and it wasn't a problem, and we'll see her again someday. We don't know, but not like not Missy, which is a shame. But
I
uh,
know.
oh, you're a copycat now, huh?
Yes.
I have a
I
female
would
regeneration. You have a female regeneration. What are you gonna do next?
I really hope they bring Unit in and then, well, she's that doctor. Because she bears a striking resemblance to Kate Stewart.
Okay, but yeah, a little bit. It's like, but I'm really curious. Like, you've got all the Doctor's Rogues gallery, and most of them have not been, none of them have been touched this season. It's going to be interesting to see when they finally take one of them off the shelf, what they do with them, and whether how soon we'll see another Master. Because I think they try and keep the Master limited so that the Master only shows up every once in a while. Like, they'll show up for a while, but they'll only show up every so often. Like, did 11 even run into the Master at any point?
Nope.
No.
I don't remember.
Yeah, because we had oh, Harold Saxon Master, the 9 didn't see him. I don't
10,
think. 10 saw the heck out of him.
he died in 10, and then he, was burned, and then came back as Missy in the 11th. I mean, in the 12th.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any Master in the 11th.
So maybe that's the pattern. Every other regeneration has no master. It's like 9, no master. 10, master. 11, no master. 12, Missy. And then 13 is not going to have it if you're following the pattern. So we won't see the master again until Doctor 14. So we got to wait.
That might be.
So we've got to wait 2 more seasons before we got to watch 2 more seasons, and then the next season after that we'll probably get our
because the master didn't show up right away in
Well,
the 10th book.
well, okay, well, yeah, maybe, but maybe they will. Maybe they could, maybe they don't. Maybe that's what 14 will be about. It's just him and the master, or her and the master, depending on what they do. Just be the doctor and the master. It'll be another big flash up between them. But I think that's, in a way, it kind of makes sense because you don't want to overuse the master. Otherwise, he loses some of his or her.
Master's kind of like Q, a great character and awesome, but if you overplay him, it just gets too much and he loses his purpose.
Yeah, well, and he's not so threatening. Familiarity brings contempt. It's like, yeah, you see him all the time or her all the time, and it loses some of that punch when they do show up, and that surprise when they do show up, because it's always sort of, oh, that's a new face on the master. It's like, okay, they seem, at least in Revival Who, they always seem to come out of nowhere. It's like, well, Chris Sims and Missy both,
Yeah.
but we've only have a sample size of 2, but they both sort of came out of nowhere. They just sort of, the doctor wasn't expecting them, didn't know that face before he actually met them, and then just sort of, they suddenly appeared. Oh, there's Chris Sims' master. Oh, there's Missy, and then it's like just sort of pop. But yeah, I'm wondering if I'm onto something with the every other regeneration having a definite sort of master doctor relationship going on, because they don't want to burn out the master. But if you do it every other time, you get a good time with the master, and then sort of disappears for a while.
The master was around it was the same master through most of 4 through 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Admittedly, 6 didn't really see the master much, but 4 and 5 and 7 did.
Yeah.
7 did. The very last episode was a master episode.
Perhaps that's what they were trying to do is, okay, so we don't want to overuse the master, so this is the pattern we're going to use, and that's sort of been everybody gets, every other doctor gets to be gets a master to play off of, and they may break that rule with 13, but they've been so diligent about not taking too many Rogues Gallery members off the shelf for her yet that if we do see the master, I doubt it will be next series. If we do see the master in whatever form the master is taken, because the master will return, it's just a matter of time. It probably won't be. It'll probably be in 13's third series if we see them at all in this Doctor's regeneration. My pattern may be right, and for Revival Who, that 13's going to have no master in it because we had so much of Missy in 12. Missy was fantastic, but don't want to overplay the master. So perhaps not. We'll see. Any final thoughts on the Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos?
Nope.
Alrighty then.